Got a little NFL draft recap. Second round of the NBA series, man. Here we go. I'm excited. Got a couple game ones under our belts.
Some surprises, man.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised. A couple of the game ones a little surprising to me, man. I feel like this is the year that a lot of teams can win it all because I don't know, man. Outside of Phoenix, because I think Phoenix by far the best team when healthy. These injuries, Devin Booker off a hamstring injury, he looks fine, man. He looks fine.
Yeah, he really does look fine. He had a move on Luka where he went through the legs and got past him. Get a little, I think it was a little baseline shot, and I was like, yeah, he's back.
Yeah. He saw Luka dodge it. He's like, okay, easy money, man.
Yeah,
easy money.
Slow mover.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, it's to Zoo's point. There's a lot of parity going on right now in the NBA. Anybody that tells you they have a good grasp on who's going to win it, they might be telling you the truth, but with all the teams that's in the semis right now, you can have a good understanding of saying, hey, this team could actually make it. So we're going to dive into the playoffs. Like I said, it's a semifinal round, and kind of want to start in the East since the Boston and Milwaukee game is going on right now, and just want to get some ideas from the guys of where they see the series going, and I guess you could talk about the game ones as well. And P-Wish, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, I mean, just since we were just talking about this pre-production, Celtics are up over 20 right now in game 2 as we're filming this right now. So compared to game 1, man, I mean, look, the Celtics defense I thought was still pretty damn good. Holding the Bucks to right around 100. I think they put up 101 in game 1. Giannis was not very efficient in game 1. I think he was about 9 of 25, which if you can make Giannis take 25 shots and he's only making 9, and you're going to stay in pretty much every game as long as you can hit shots. And my God, the Boston Celtics looked like the Chicago Bulls in round 1 in that first game against the Bucks, man. Jaylen Brown, absolutely atrocious game. Jason Tatum put up over 20, but he was 6 of 18. Al Horford wasn't doing much. Marcus Smart wasn't doing much. I think their best player efficiency-wise was Robert Williams, who went 3 for 6. And they just couldn't make anything, man. Drew Holiday did come out and hit some big shots. This game, for me, before this game started, I thought that this was pretty telling for the Celtics on the offensive side. But when you really look at the game, and I guess seeing how they came out today, as long as they're making shots, their defense can keep them pretty much in with every team. And I thought that was something that they were able to carry over from the Nets series. And even though they're playing the reigning champs, they're clearly bouncing back. And, as a young, deep team, they have options, man. They have guys that can come off the bench and give them 10 here and there. And in the playoffs, you need those guys. Absolutely, you need those guys.
For sure.
The Sixers and the Nets, I think, are two perfect reasons as to why you need some type of role player and role presence on your teams. And we're seeing what Boston can do when they're actually able to make shots. So I think this one will end up probably pushing 6 or 7 still.
Yeah, 6,
just because, just the Bucks are so good, you can't really put it past them. And they did steal a game in Boston. No matter how it was done, they did steal a game. So tonight might even the series up, but there's a lot of series in this semifinals round that I could see going 6 or 7, and this is definitely one of them.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I still think Boston Celtics is the better team, man. I think it's the better team. Game 1, just watching them, my God, they were just bricking threes, man. Yep. They were bricking threes because they got some good looks. Is the way Milwaukee plays, they just clog up the plane with big old Brook Lopez, man. Giannis, Bobby Portis, all that length, man. Got 6'11" and dudes and up in the paint, man. Force you to shoot threes and beat you. And with their length, they're able to contest your 3-point shots, and that was their game plan. Celtics couldn't hit anything. Like Jason Tatum's, like as you said, 6 for 18. Like that's atrocious. Like Jason Tatum hasn't had that bad of a series in all of the Nets series. So game 1 against the Milwaukee Bucks, which is actually a real defense. So that one thing they got shook was like, man, you get a 4-game series against the Brooklyn Nets. They don't play no defense, man. Like, offense is easy breezy. They got a good offense, but the defense, it's pretty easy for their guys to show up. But now with Milwaukee's defense, which shut down my Bulls, and now they shut down the Celtics. So I'm just like, this is a legitimate defense. Drew Holiday, this guy in the playoffs, best perimeter defender in all that basketball. But as a guard, my goodness, this guy, watching him play defense is actually entertaining. Like this guy actually shuts down like stars. No, not the scrubs. He shuts down stars. And I got to shout out to Rob Williams. This guy's defense, like Giannis, that 9 for 25, a lot of it was because of Rob Williams, man. Like the guy, Giannis didn't hit a single shot on Rob Williams. Didn't hit a single shot.
Well, there's a game plan.
Exactly, Oprah, man. He's their best defense. I know Marcus Smart is the defensive player of the year, but I think Rob Williams on a defensive impact as a rim protector is more impactful than him. And right now, no Marcus Smart, no problem.
Yeah.
They're up 25.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know about that DPOI award, but okay. I think Rob Williams might be the more impactful guy, especially his length and his athleticism. Like, this guy is pretty much what DeAndre Jordan is supposed to be doing for the Sixers, but that dude is like the worst player in basketball right now.
Yeah, he needs to go ahead and retire.
Yeah, he should. That dude has
no hops.
He lost all his legs, man. That dude's going straight to retirement. But the Boston Celtics, though, they're going to make adjustments. Udoka's doing a hell of a job as a first-year head coach, former player, now first-time head coach. He's doing a hell of a job. And you look at the roster, no Chris Middleton. I still think Middleton actually does matter as an offensive skill set guy that could create his own shot, like making bad shots. Because against the Celtics team, you got to be able to hit those contested jump shots with a hand in the face. And Giannis is great, MVP caliber guy, but that's one thing he's still not good at. He's not a good jump shooter. He's a paint guy. And the Celtics team, man, they're going to be loading up their game plan, force Giannis to tough shots in the paint. And they could do it, man. They slow down KD. They could slow down Giannis.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much the game plan. Like, everybody had this theory with Giannis saying to build a wall. I don't know if the Celtics have to go that far, but they have to just neutralize Giannis, and I think the Celtics can control the series. I don't know if part of this game is I don't know if you say the Bucks have this, we stole one, so like who cares about game 2? They're defending champions, so it's like I don't think they would have that mindset. But sometimes teams are like, okay, we got one on the road, let's see how we do at home. And I do like Milwaukee at home. They do have a really, I guess you could say, fiery fan base. So like them going home, I would like their chances. But I mean, if Boston is hitting shots, it's going to be tough because, like you say, I know Grayson Allen is having these crazy games, but he's not going to continue to.
Grayson Allen, I call that guy Ray Allen right now, man.
Yeah,
every time he's open, every time the dude's open, he hits. I swear to God, every time he's open, he hits threes.
I just don't see that as a pinpoint. Like, okay, we're going to get this from Grayson Allen. Like, if you're dependent on that, then I wouldn't. Now, if you want to tell me a certain price point of where you got Pat Connaughton and Grayson Allen give you a decent number, okay, but not just one. So then you look at the other scoring load is like, okay, now you got to depend on Portis. You got to depend on Drew Holiday, whose his main job is to shut down the stars. So, it's going to be, put back on Giannis. He is the best player in the series, so it wouldn't be surprising if, Milwaukee takes care of business at home because Giannis is just that great of a player. Giannis is starting to ascend into, this whole, we all know he's a superstar, but now he's looking like one of the better players in the league. Like, he's not just this guy who – and his jump shot is, I don't think, ever going to come, but he's shot enough to where he can make critical jump shots, but you can't expect him to go 7 to 10 or 8 to 10 on jump shots. Like, he lives in the lane. So if Boston is able to neutralize him in the lane, like, I still think it goes 6, but it would be the Celtics that end up taking it. So it's going to these next games, I think, at home for Milwaukee, based on their crowd and how Giannis may get more favorable calls, and maybe on the road, the role players that the Celtics don't play as well. Maybe that shifts the series, but if they neutralize Giannis, I think it's Boston in 6. And this second game is kind of, and plus Boston too, I think you can't put it behind. They know this is their game. Like, this is their critical game. If they were to lose this game, they probably get swept because I don't think they can go into Boston or go into Milwaukee and win 2. So they're playing probably way more desperate because they got smacked around in that first game with Giannis not playing well. So like you said, they didn't make shots. And if they make shots on the road, then, maybe Boston has a chance. But in terms of the Eastern Conference, I feel like this series especially is going to be the most tightly contested. Transition to the other series, I don't think we all know the Sixers have a chance with Joel having his face cracked and, the defensive effort of the Heat. So, Zoo, I guess you can kind of go into that and see, or Peebush, whoever wants to take that.
Yeah, dude, when I saw that news that Shams broke that he had an orbital fracture, going to miss at least 2 games, I'm just like, it's over. It's over. He's an MVP candidate of the year, man.
I don't think he's playing at all, bro.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, they said maybe game 4.
I think he might come back for game 3 or game 4 at home. I think he's going to try to come back. But, man, without his defensive presence, like I say, you're down to DeAndre Jordan getting like a decent amount of minutes.
I don't think they should play him at all. I think they should just play small, not even play him.
That's the problem is they got no bigs at all because like Miami low-key plays pretty small. Like Bam Adebayo as a center, he's a 6'9" center.
Yep.
So he's not like a true center size. So you can
but they all rebound.
But
they all rebound.
The physicality of the Miami Heat right now, dude, this team is just a bunch of rough riders, man. Like defensive presence, like everyone's like is up on you. And if you looking at the Sixers right now, we got broken ass, fat ass Harden, man. Jesus,
that's the major problem.
Oh my Lord. Oh,
he looks very regular.
The dude went from averaging 30 points to cutting that in half now, man. The guy is funny of 16 points a game. He's not even shooting that many attempts right now. Like he's shooting in the mid-teens like every single game because his shot creation ability is just not there right now. And without Joel Embiid, you can't defer anymore. You can't be. I'm getting like this guy. James Harden's an elite passer. Like you get 10, 12 assists. You don't need that right now, man. You need to get buckets. You need buckets, right? Like I feel like Tobias Harris is outplaying James Harden
by far.
Yeah. And that's shocking for me to say because I do not like Tobias Harris, Mr. Max Contract, man. Overrated, never an all-star max contract type of dude. But, dude, he's outplaying me. He's actually getting some buckets right now. Like James Harden.
Nice game
efficiency-wise, 30-something% every single game. And when he has a good game, it's like 42 right now. It's embarrassing. It's atrocious. Tyrese Maxey's a better scorer than James Harden. Like Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris,
horribly.
Yeah, are better scores than James Harden right now, and that is a bad sign. But now Embiid, like they got technically no. I feel like they got no all-stars right now on the team against the Miami Heat team with Bam Adebayo, who's an elite defender. I call him an all-star. Jimmy Butler, who always steps up.
Tyler Hero went off.
Tyler Hero. Congrats to him, 6th man of the year, well deserved. No doubts about it. 20 points off the bench, man. Money, Jesus. I can't believe it, man. Miami might go on another run again, man.
I know,
crazy, man. And the thing is,
a little deja vu.
Yeah, I'm getting a little deja vu because like the Miami Heat, they got no superstars. They got some like all-star caliber players, but they don't have a superstar on their team. But they keep making conference finals appearances, man. That's impressive. That's impressive.
Detroit Pistons,
culture,
exactly.
Culture.
No top end talent and getting it done in basketball, impressive.
Yeah, I mean, to your earlier point, Zoo, I think that maybe not to the same extent, obviously, as what happened with Derrick Rose, but I don't know why Embiid was in that game 6 against the Raptors.
Yeah.
With
they were
3.5
29.
left. Up 27, 29, something like that.
Wow, another coaching mishap by Doc Rivers. Who would have thought?
Oh, who would have thought? But, I do think that the Heat will definitely go up 2-0 here with Embiid pretty much not having no chance of coming back in game 2. If he comes back in game 3 or 4, I should say this. I'm kind of getting a little similarity with how the Nets were trying to treat Ben Simmons. When they said, he might come back game 3, he might come back game 4. And then they were down 2-0. And then game 3 kind of didn't really work out. And then they were down 3-0. And then he finally just said, I'm not playing game 4. I think that if the Heat do go up 3-0 and Embiid did not play in game 3, he won't play game 4. They'll kind of just roll over and say it.
He coming back.
Yeah? You think so?
Yeah, man. This dude, man, he's a warrior.
He is a warrior. You're right. But I'm saying I should put it this way. It won't make a difference. Let's put it that way. In this series outcome, they might steal a game and force 5, get a nice little gentleman's. But, man, if you're two best offensive players consistency-wise, Harden, the expectation that his offense is good, I should say.
Yeah.
And then Maxey, if they're combining 11 and 28 from the field,
ain't gonna work.
There's no chance that they're even going to be close. I know we had a conversation a couple weeks ago about who was more important, Jordan Poole to the Warriors or Maxey to the Sixers. Maxey's importance is even more heightened now, especially with one, Embiid's injury, but 2, also just how Harden is pretty much proving what we thought might be right in that his offense and his game entirely has been declining. So if he doesn't have a big game, probably in game 2, they're screwed. They're in the water. If they go down 2-0, I'm writing this series off, even if Embiid comes back. And I just think the Heat, man, they're the more physical of the two teams by far. The Sixers don't have anybody that can rebound. Over a 6'9" guy? Come on, man. You got Pete. There was one possession when I was watching the game last night. They had 5 offensive rebounds in one possession. One possession. I don't give a damn at what level you are, but in the NBA, you can't let that happen. There has to be some sort of intensity there. And clearly Doc Rivers hasn't gotten his team going. So I don't know, man. It's kind of a tough series to watch. The Heat, I do think are fun.
The Heat muck it up. Like every time I watch the Miami Heat, it's like an ugly game. Like that Atlanta Hawks series, that was ugly.
They
man.
just forced you into an ugly game.
I fell asleep watching some Heat games, this playoff games, man.
Yeah,
I fell asleep watching.
Well, you are on the East Coast too, so that's fair.
Well, Heat Hawks, man. I passed out watching some of those games. I had to.
I probably watched one.
I
probably watched one of Heat and Hawks. I didn't watch much of that series.
It was not. Dude, they just shut down Trae Young.
They bully you.
Their defense,
PJ
and their
Tucker.
and their offense is like very slow paced. They're not even that good of an offensive like skill set type of team. Like Miami against an elite defense is going to struggle like offensively because their half court offense is just not that good. Not that many playmakers on the team. But I'm just like the crazy part is the Miami Heat, man. Right now without Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's fat ass is on the bench still.
That was coming.
Yeah, they got these no-name Gabe Vincent and Max Strus of the
Cody
world.
Martin.
That's their backcourt right now. Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. They're not even playing Duncan Robinson. I don't know what the hell happened to Duncan.
Starting.
Yeah, Oladipo, that dude. I don't know, he dropped a 30-point game, and now he's just inconsistent right now because he's come off injuries. But yeah, they're not using Duncan Robinson right now, which I'm just like. They got $90 million on the bench. They're not even using them right now because they have all these role players that they're stepping up in their role right now. So I'm just like, shouts to PJ Tucker. This dude, man. Everyone can have a PJ Tucker on the team.
Energizer Bunny, man.
Yeah, elite defense, rebounding,
he's a winning player. They would
quarter threes, physicality, man. Like you gotta love having a PJ Tucker on your team.
Yep.
So, man.
I don't know. Miami, like you say. With the Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, they've had a lot of players come through post LeBron, even before LeBron was away. They've always had guys in their rotation that they developed that they've either got as an undrafted guy or like a late round guy that they develop, and they may not become like a huge star, but they're vital pieces in a playoff run. And like you said, Miami has always preached a culture of defense, so they're going to muck up the games, and like you say. Harden is just it's kind of becoming evident that he's just a shell of himself. He's average. He's an average player now. Like for his standards, like to some other people, they may think, well, like he's common NBA player.
He's not an all-star anymore. Like
he's not an all-star at all.
He has dropped off from an all-star to a high-level starter now, but he's not an all-star no more.
No, those days are gone. So like. Now with Philadelphia, like you say, sometimes you can mask that with Embiid on the court because he's such a great player. But now that Embiid's not on the court, you're asking James to carry, and he's just not able to do it. Now, do I think he has one game where he can go for 30? Yeah, but I think it's going to be one game. I don't think he can go for 30 in game 2 and then go for another 25 or 30 in game 3. I just don't see it. He has to prove that he can do that. And ever since that hamstring injury, he just has gone completely south. He has not shown any level of all-star play. And to me, like people are saying, I think if Miami wins the next game, you want to talk about pressure and just the whole, because you got to think about where they're going home to. They're going home to Philly. So like that is not the best. That's not the best place to go when you're down 0-2. Because they're not going to be like, come on, let's go. No, they're going to boo you out. Like if Miami Heat going on like a 15-3 run in the beginning of the game, the fans are going to go nuts. They're going to turn on Philly. So like the only way they could salvage this series is if they win the next game, and I just don't see it because you're then asking Tobias Harris and Maxey to bring you home, and good luck because that ain't happening, especially on the road with the defense. No, it ain't happening. Not with those guards and those pit bulls. Like because like you said, they would have to go Super Saiyan mode, like to get them to win that game too. So. Good luck, Philly. But shifting to the Western Conference, where I think there's at least one series on this side of the bracket that's pretty interesting, and I would say Memphis and Golden State. That was one of the better games I saw Sunday.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just to give a little quick comments on that, I think what was really telling about that is we all know Draymond and his theatrics. Like that's part of what he does, and now that he's a podcaster and does that, like. Kind of like in his part-time, away from the game. I just feel like all this stuff, we were talking about narratives and scripts. I just feel like all of this is intertwined when now that Draymond's got the podcast. So it's just like, the fact that he was trying to explain himself out of like not trying to throw the guy down when he jerks his jersey. It's just that's just Draymond. That's just what he does, man. That's just what he does. But outside of that, what I thought was really interesting is that Poole kind of when he plays like
he's a star.
He plays like Steph and Clay are not on the court.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing now he's like evolving to. Like he was a scorer and he's a guy that can get buckets, but now he's like there was one play where he got it and he just came down the court, pull up three, and I think Steph was coming to check in and Clay was on the court and he just pulled it up, swished it, and was just he didn't care. And to
he did
me,
it again too. It was back-to-back possessions that he did that while they were trying to come in.
I just think that factor of how high his confidence is why I have Golden State in this series, because I just feel like he's doing that on the road. Like, what is he going to do at home? Like, what is he going to do at home? So it's like, and Draymond got thrown out, and they were still able to pull that game out, even though Clay basically almost gifted them overtime with the two
missed free.
Yeah, that was
Derrick Rose.
And they were bad misses.
Mm-hmm. Like, back of the rim, up high.
Yeah, man. It's not even in and out. Those are like, he choked.
Not a chance.
He choked.
Yeah, he did choke. That was a choke job. You could tell. Yeah, he choked. It just
he did hit the big three though. To be fair, that put him up one.
Yeah, he did. He did hit that. He did hit that. I will give him that. But that's just what I'm going to be looking at. Jordan Poole, his emergence of where his game is going to go when they go back home. Like if he turns it up and has, I don't expect him to have this game 2 where he's going to be doing the same thing because that's just asking a lot. But if he goes home and it's just giving them a lot more of an explosive score, like I think Golden State could take the series. Like because you got to think, looking on the other side, like Ja Morant, yeah, he had however many points he had, but I always look at the shot totals, and he had like 30 plus shots. So it's like to me, that's not efficient. And I think if Ja, if you, I feel like if you in that last play, Ja wants to be the star, and he is the star. But if he dumps that to Brandon Clark, they're probably going in overtime. Like that angle he threw the shot up at, he wants it so bad. I get it, but if he would have just dumped that off to Brandon Clark, that would have been a way better shot. So I don't know. A lot of the inconsistencies we saw with him in the Minnesota series, I feel like it's going to bite him in the butt against Golden State. So, P-Bush, I don't know where you want to take that, but
I agree. I think, a couple things. I thought, Ja's efficiency. He's always been about a 46, 47% field goal percentage shooter, so I can't really knock him on inefficiency. He had to have a big game, and he did have a big game, especially hitting the same amount of threes that he hit all the previous series.
Yeah, all the previous series.
And at that point, he was shooting about 39% from three, which is way above his average. That's pretty damn good. That's way above average for the league. I thought he played well. I think he turned the ball over a little too much. He got a little antsy. But for me, it was the reason. Look, Clay didn't have an efficient game. Steph was okay. Jordan Poole
was the best
carried
player.
31, 9, and 8 off the bench. But I got to shout out two things on the Grizzlies, one good and one bad. Jaren Jackson Jr. was out of his mind with one of the ugliest three-point jumpers in the league. Man, and this man shoots 66%.
That lower release push shot, man.
Unbelievable.
He shot that with confidence.
He must have had the same jump shot since he was in 5th grade.
Yeah, and he just grew.
Yeah. And the thing for me, though, the difference maker, I think, in this game was, besides Poole on the other side, was Desmond Bane and Dylan Brooks combining for 5 of 25 from this field. And I don't care if Jaren Jackson's giving you 30, you got Ja giving you 34, a couple other guys hitting some shots. If one of those two guys is not giving you at least 15 points, you're not winning a game. And, you could talk about Draymond being out. I think that second angle that they showed where he hit him across the head and then dragged him down. It was like the combo of the two. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? In the moment, I think on the first, I was like, okay, that's not a flagrant 2. Then they showed the side view.
It was technically, I think, by the books, 2 flagrant 1s, which equals flagrant.
Which equals a flagrant 2.
Exactly.
Right.
So you ejected.
So I thought it made sense. Is it telling for the Grizzlies? I think so, but it's not like, look, Draymond's a great player. He's unbelievable on defense. I don't think even with him, the Grizzlies were playing well against the Warriors when he was on the floor too. They were leading the whole time he was on the floor. So I think this personally, I'm going to say it goes 7. Sean, I'm going to agree with you. I think the Warriors do take it in 7 purely on an experience.
That's what
I'm
thinking on.
Their third option, telling from game 1, is probably going to end up being bigger than what the Grizzlies can put up as a third option. unless Desmond Bane and Dillon Brooks, because they've both been getting in foul trouble, man. And that's I think the biggest thing for them. Dillon Brooks just hacking everybody left and right. The Grizzlies just they looked in shambles a little bit, and I think that's the difference between the Warriors and most other teams in the league. And at the end of the day, I'm probably going to stick with those guys, man. No matter how inefficient their stars might be sometimes.
Yeah, man, dude. Not gonna lie, for the Memphis Grizzlies, man, I've been really impressed with the Brandon Clark, man.
Yeah,
his athleticism, his physicality, his rebounding, his defense as a lob threat.
His selling of flagrants.
Man, he has been balling. He's been giving them a lot of energy off the bench right now because, like, I don't know, this Tillman guy who they start, like, I don't know who the hell this guy does. This guy doesn't really do anything. Like, Brandon Clark is a true –
yeah, he's just a foul guy.
Yeah, exactly. They just start him because they want energy off the bench.
The Joel Anthony.
Yeah, but yeah.
Throwback right there.
Yeah.
Joel Anthony, who had underrated finishing ability around the rim. Like, he could finish some, like, LeBron and D-Wade passes. Like, he was really ambidextrous under the hoop. I'll give him a little credit for that.
Yeah, man.
Sorry, I had to bring that name back.
Man, I remember Joel Anthony getting posterized by D
Rose in the Eastern
Conference Finals, man. He splits two defenders, goes on him, dunks him in Miami. I was like, oh!
That might be his only highlight.
Might be.
Getting dunked on, man. But that was a beautiful, beautiful moment, man. But back to the Grizz, man. Desmond Bane, man. Very uncharacteristic of him going 1 for 5 from 3. Because that Grizzly series, man, I was seeing a star born against that Timberwolves, man. That first round series, dude. He was the best player in that series because I think Ja Morant that series, he was god awful.
Yeah.
Like, I saw his lack of confidence on his jump shot. He started deferring. He started not even looking at the basket. He would just drive and kick people. He just lost confidence in all of his game, and he was, like, missing his little teardrops and layups. So, like, Timberwolves took him out of his rhythm, and Desmond Bane had to carry the load. And that dude was just automatic. Like, his jump shot, super pretty, and his ability to also dribble. He's just not a catch and shoot guy. He could dribble, sidestep, dribble. He got a little floater game. Like, this guy's very, very versatile and this guy's a second-year player. Putting up 20 points in the first round against good Timberwolves, and now against the Warriors, they're gonna need him for 20 points. Yeah. It's like this game, obviously 9 points, 1 for 5 from 3. He had an off game. He was due for an off game because I feel like he didn't even have one.
No, he didn't have one.
Timberwolves. So, but now next game, you got to get it done. Now, Desmond Bane, like you said, Ja Morant stepping up, dropping to 30 and 10. Jaren Jackson finally didn't get into foul trouble. Yeah, this dude. I swear to God, after the first quarter of every series of the last round,
2 fouls.
2 fouls after 1 quarter. Like every single game I watch, I'm like, this dude just needs to know how to guard without fouling. And it's like been an issue of all the regular season, and he hasn't really adjusted that for the playoffs right now. Even though they're obviously allowing more calls right now because they want more physicality in the playoffs, but they're just getting foul trouble. So he got to learn how to control that because my Lord, they let one slip away, man. They let one slip away. Like, this was the game to get. This was the game to get against the Warriors team because I feel like everyone believes that the Warriors are a better team. They got more experience. Their high-end talent is better than the Timberwolves against the Grizzlies. So I'm just like, man, to steal a game, man, and losing it like that, that's going to be tough, man. Mentally draining.
I think they tie it up tonight, though.
Really?
I will say. I think they're going to tie it up. I don't think Poole's going to put up that. He could put up 25. But
Jordan Poole, man, dude.
They're going to come out with a game plan, man. The Grizzlies are not too shabby on defense, but neither are the Warriors.
And they're going to be more desperate. They're going to be more desperate tonight, too. Because they can't – they're just like how Boston – you can't go 2-0 going back to Oracle. Those fans will go crazy, yeah.
I think John just a little bit, I think he got a taste of, okay, I kind of blew that at the end right there. Mm-hmm. And you could see it in his face. Yeah, and I wanted him to deal with that.
I like that play call.
It was a great play.
Like a little lefty hook layup. Like I love the play call. Like Klay Thompson with the smart defense, just completely ignoring his dude to help out, which is smart because there's no time to pass it out for a jump shot. But my, dude, he had a chance. He had if he hit that shot, I'll be like, okay, I gotta really think about the Grizzlies winning the series. But me, man, I got the Warriors in 6, man. I got the Warriors in 6.
I got Warriors.
I think the experience, like I said, the experience is just gonna kind of. If you would have told me Memphis would have took care of Minnesota in 5 games maybe and looked professional doing it, then I would have been like if the Grizzlies lost this first game, I'm like, I think the Grizzlies still have a really good chance to win the series. But how they acted during the Minnesota series, they just seem immature. Like they just Ja and all the guys talking, and it's like, dude,
responding.
Yeah, I understand Minnesota because they're the 7th seed and they're like haven't been to the playoffs in 20 years. You're Memphis, like you win games without Ja, you win games with Ja, like act like the number 2 seed. So that maturity kind of turned me off. So that's why it's like if this gets tight and it gets down to the 5th, 6th, 7th game, potentially like I got to take the team that's been there. And like you said, Golden State has an X factor with Jordan Poole and things like that. So switching to the next series, I'm going to keep it short. Luka's going to have to go God mode to win the series. If not, they're not going to win.
He did last night.
And they still lost.
In the game, it wasn't even close.
No.
It wasn't even a close game.
It's
like a 7-point game, but it was pretty much a blowout. Like, it was a blowout, and then
DeAndre Ayton. He ate, man.
Oh, my Lord.
And as he should, because the Dallas has no shot blocking at all.
Nothing.
They have no chance to stop him.
Is Boban still on that team?
I don't know, but they should put him out there for 10 minutes a game.
Just to change up the
fouls.
I think they've lost 10 straight games to Phoenix, too.
Well,
I think somebody said that this morning.
I think I'm seeing 3 more coming.
Yeah. Luka has to go God mode, bro. He can't,
and Brunson.
Yeah.
And Jalen Brunson, he laid an egg after another amazing first-round series. Yeah. He was due for a regression game. Exactly. It was due for a regression game, but man, oh, man. Because Luka Doncic's primary ball handler, primary scorer. Jalen Brunson, he needs to be the second guy. Like Spencer, I don't know, Spencer Dinwiddie, he just sucks. Like he just sucks, man.
He's
he's like a spot up shooter, like supposed to be a playmaker. But all I see this dude is breaking shots. Like Spencer Dinwiddie is just not, man. He's just not productive.
Like he belongs in the 1980s NBA, man. That's what his look looks like, man. It's unbelievable. Yeah. He needs to do. They need Finney Smith to do something. I know I think he only shot 10 shots and he made 5 of them. But man, if Luka's shooting how many shots did he take? 35 almost.
He went 15 for 30. 15 for 30.
Look at that. I mean,
efficient. Yeah, still.
It's efficient. It's efficient, but I don't know if they just weren't getting as many possessions as they wanted. But you have to play a perfect series to beat a team like this. And
you know what they're lacking? They need another star. If they had another star, I think they could. And that's going to be and we don't know what Luka's going to do in the series, so we don't want to foreshadow. But if they were to lose the series, that's going to be a really pressing storyline because Dallas has a ceiling, and it's pretty obvious. Either they're going to have to either get a star into Dallas, which they drafted Luka. Stars don't go to Dallas, so it's like if they don't get another star, they got to either trade for one, a serious one, like these little ancillary parts. You need a legitimate star beside Luka. If you can't get that, it's going to start getting to what is Luka going to do? Is he going to stay? And we don't want to talk about that right now, but it's just evident because. Even with the Phoenix Suns, you would say they have 2 legitimate stars in Chris Paul and in Devin Booker, and they're
and DeAndre Ayton is getting to star level as a center.
We say that every year, and then he ends up having an off game or off series.
Well, hopefully he'll
he's still
be more consistent. Yeah,
he's a top 5 center in the NBA.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Was he in the discussion?
How many decent ones are there?
Not many.
Yeah, he wasn't really. 5. He's probably he wasn't even in the discussion for All NBA though.
Oh no.
Would you take him over Carl?
No.
Not this year. Regular season.
Carl Anthony Towns' production this year is unreal.
Yeah. Playoff Carl Anthony Towns
because he actually has a star playing with him now.
Yeah, that's another thing too. A legitimate star. Real quick in NFL topic regarding the draft. Like I said, I'm gonna be honest. Said it before the pod. Really only watched the first round. Just wanted to see how those teams traded and what they did in the first round. But I kept up with who did what. So I wanted to ask the guys what was a winner and a loser of the NFL draft. And Peebush, I'm going to start with you.
Well, Sean, I think you might be kind of happy with my pick. My winner of the draft is none other than the New York Jets, man. I thought they actually made a good draft for once.
Really good draft.
A very good draft. They had pretty much 3 top 15 caliber players that they got all in the first round. I really like the Ahmad Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati. He's getting me a little Darrelle Revis vibes. Not saying he's going to be at the same level, but just an absolutely shut down press corner. Maybe a little Richard Sherman in him as well. I think that, for a team that absolutely gets destroyed pretty much every year in the passing game, they need a true number 1 corner. And then they also needed more help for Zach Wilson. And now they got the Wilson to Wilson combo with Garrett Wilson being drafted 10th overall. That's not a solid double combo wide receiver. I know, Sean, you and I are both Elijah Moore fans.
Put him in the slot now. He's going to eat.
He's going to eat. Yes.
Yeah.
Could not agree more. And then they kind of brought it in with Jermaine Johnson at the edge rusher out of your FSU.
Yeah.
And I did like the sneaky little Breece Hall pick.
Pairing
him up with Michael Carter.
Yeah.
So I thought that they made a couple other, I'm sure, solid draft picks as well. But those were kind of the four that stood out to me. And for me, I'm giving the Jets an A on this one. I'm not saying they're going to be making too much noise this year, but hey, they're taking steps in the right direction. That's really all you can ask for a team of that caliber at this point in their career.
Joe Douglas, fun fact, Joe Douglas, he's a disciple of Ozzie Newsome who worked with the Ravens. So it makes sense that the Jets had a really good draft because the Ravens
there you go.
For real. I found that out during the draft. I was like, oh, well, I get why the Jets draft well now because they have a guy that worked under Ozzie. So
yep. Yeah, so they're moving in the right direction. That's really all you can ask for, because we all know the teams that are already solidified usually don't make major splashes in drafts. So,
man, my winner, man, is a player, AJ Brown, $100 million deal, man. Gets that $100 million deal that the Titans obviously didn't want to get him. They traded a draft pick to get him. A lot of trades happened on draft night. Man.
Yeah, Mark.
A lot of action, but man, oh man, AJ Brown getting the bag, man. Tennessee Titans, very interesting. Giving up on the young talent that they got and trading him just for what's the 18th pick or something like.
They picked a receiver, another guy that's an AJ Brown type guy.
AJ Brown type.
He ain't AJ Brown right now.
They didn't want to pay.
Yeah, man. And they got a new QB too, which is interesting too. Ryan Tannehill ain't don't want to mentor him, but AJ Brown. That Tannehill wants a job, man. He ain't mentor, man. He wants a job. He's easily replaceable, man. But $100 million or $40 million guaranteed, man. Something about the wide receiver crop. They're like everybody in the wide receiver. If you're an elite receiver, you're getting paid right now, man.
Yep.
Like the market has been set. With the Devontae Adams, the Tyreek Hills, probably the tier below them, like everybody's eating as receivers. And usually in the past, these contracts weren't given to receivers.
No,
like none at all. But now, like the NFL, I don't know. There's like a change of more offensive focus, but GMs are not like spending money on receivers. So I'm just like, man, it's a very interesting trend, man. Shout out to AJ Brown, man. He's a stud. He was injured last year, but I'm happy that he got the bag, man. Happy he got the bag. But I don't know, Jalen Hurts, man. No excuses.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, no excuses.
Quez Watkins,
got a great resume with Quez. I was just going to say.
Quez Watkins in the slot, no excuses. No excuses for Jalen Hurts and Zach Wilson. No excuses.
No excuses. I'm just like, man, you got the weapons, man. They're pretty much saying, are you the real deal or not? We're giving you the weapons. We'll see what happens. So we'll see if Hurts the real deal or not.
Yeah, my winner is kind of on the track. Another fun fact about AJ Brown, I saw in the draft when I was just watching the draft coverage on YouTube, just to recap, he's like the same age as some of the receivers coming out in the draft this year. He's only 24. So if he has like another 3 or 4 explosive years, like he could maybe get another good contract. So that puts a lot more pressure on Jalen because it's like if Jalen, does what he's supposed to do, he could have a star receiver for the next, I don't know, 6 to 7 years.
Yep.
That'll put him at what, 31, 32? So AJ Brown's actually really young. So that was a really good coup. And going into my point about the Eagles, they still have their 2 first-round picks for next year. So it's like if Jalen Hurts hypothetically doesn't work out, like they could trade up and try to get a quarterback and do whatever. So shout out to their GM. They made, I would say, the best draft day trades in terms of like acquiring like talent for now and talent for the future. And Jordan Davis, the big guy from Georgia, who's going to kind of, be that understudy or play beside Fletcher Cox. They were also able to get another center to replace, I can't remember the name. I think it's Travis Kelce's brother. Jason Kelce, I think his name is. Yeah. Yep. He, he's going to be probably looking at retirement the next couple of years. So they got a center. And centers never bust. Like, I think there's a record with, like, every center that gets drafted in the first round, they all hit. So it's like.
You got that mental toughness.
Yeah, you got to be able to play center at, like, a high level, especially intelligent-wise. So, I think that was a big pick. Nakobe Dean going in the 3rd round. Now, I know a lot of people were off on him because he's like a 5'11 and a half linebacker. So, but people I don't think people remember Devin Bush. Like he got injured, I think, last year, but he was around the same size. Like he was from Michigan. I think he played at Michigan. 3-year guy. He was only like a 5'11 middle line, and people loved his tape. And he went high in a draft, and he was a productive player when he got drafted for the Steelers. So I don't know. Nakobe Dean could be another guy that could be a huge steal for them. And,
at least one team in Philly's doing something right.
Yeah. For real. Their GM might need to take some notes. Like, I know Daryl Morey's got track record for having good teams, but he might need to take some notes on how to, I guess, shift around
the fan base.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure everybody right now are real big on the Eagles. Assuming Jalen Hurts does what he's supposed to do. Losers, I mean, for me, it's obviously the Cowboys. I don't understand that draft pick because they had a chance to draft Jermaine Johnson, and just thinking about him being on the other side of Micah Parsons would have been really nice to see. Like, that would have probably made Dallas one of like a top 10, top 5 defense if Jermaine is what he is. Because then you have 2 elite edge rushers, and it doesn't matter. If you have 2 elite edge rushers in the NFL, the rest of your defense could be okay. Because if you're getting pressure on the quarterback, and that's going to make, your DBs and all. Look at Trayvon Diggs. He looked way better when Michael was getting to the quarterback. So if you have 2 of those guys on the edges, sky would have been a limit. But they just, but they wanted to draft the lineman, so that's fine. And, the Patriots, gone are the days of me just trusting Bill Belichick. Like, I know he develops guys really well, but considering all their needs, I don't understand that guy. And from every draft guru, they've all said that he reached on that pick. They could have maybe traded back. So, the Patriots, we'll see. And another sneaky winner was the Bills. They got Dalvin Cook's little brother in the second round. And he's a receiving back. Like, he's not like Cook's stature, but he's like basically a slot receiver. So, like, him coming out the backfield with Josh Allen, because that's what we complained about with the Bills. Like, they didn't have a running back. If James Cook can come in there and solidify it, and I saw they got OJ Howard at tight end.
Yep.
Which I don't know, man. Like you say, we're not saying the Jets need to make huge strides and win a division because that ain't happening with I think now, as with the Jets acquiring talent, they need to be battling Miami and I guess you could say the Patriots somewhat for that division. But that's it. I mean, like I said, full disclosure, I only watched the first round, so it's not like I can go in a deep dive with all these. Yeah, I know what happened in the 5th round, whatever. The teams that have good drafts are the teams we all expect to have good drafts, like Ravens and all those guys. So.
Well, my loser, I expected to have a bad draft, and that's my hometown Chicago Bears.
I didn't want to do that to you.
I was just going to say, I mean, I know they didn't have a first-round pick, so I can't really, hate on them for not getting the stud. But, man, the fact that in their 2 second-round picks, they went with a cornerback and a safety, like, why not at least
Monsters of the Midway, man. Come on.
What'd you say?
Monsters of the Midway, man. Come on. Got to keep.
I know. Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. My expectation is for them to always go defense, but I thought maybe they cared about their jobs a little bit and maybe were like, oh, well, we should help protect Justin Fields, or they did draft that Tennessee wide receiver to give him a bit help, but it's not going to do much. But the fact that they just almost completely neglected their offensive line was what really got to me. So they're going to continue focusing on their secondary. I guess that is their biggest need on the defensive side. But, man, oh, man, they do not know how to make moves. That's all I'll say. So the Patriots were my biggest loser, but just for a personal, I got a little vendetta against how the Bears draft. Pretty much.
And the tradition, which I will say I was not aware of until I was watching my draft recap about the Packers. I was like, they got to make a move. But I was not really aware, and this is kind of my fault, I was not really aware that the Packers don't ever, dating back years, they don't draft first-round receivers. That's not what they do.
No.
So now understanding that is like, okay, well, I guess that philosophy works when you have Aaron Rodgers. And the guy that they got in the second round, I watched this tape, he was Trey Lance's teammate. I mean, he's a 6'4", 215, 220 guy that can fly, so maybe he might look better with Rodgers. Who knows? Like, he didn't look like
well.
So I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, the draft, NFL is a whole lot different than NBA. A lot of these guys are going to come in expecting to make impacts, but it's just not like how it is in NBA. So we're going to see, who does what in the draft or at post-draft and, mini camps and all that stuff. And there'll be a bunch of storylines about players looking good without pads on and not being in real games. So we'll be bracing for that. But like I said, we're going to be getting into NBA season, like you say, is down to the semifinals. So we're going to see a lot of these series hopefully go to distance, so that gives us more content. As the NBA season winds down, I'm sure there's going to be more NFL headlines that come up, different types of things with the NBA draft, things of that nature. So make sure you subscribe to Bullheaded_pod on all the platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, things at Facebook. Make sure you subscribe to Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts for the audio versions, and YouTube stream, which is basically the same thing under Bullheaded. So make sure you guys tune into that. And for me, Zoo, and P-Bush,